What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury, Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder. Get this, the VADA results are in, and they are very, very, very interesting to certain people. And surprisingly, they're both negative. 100% negative of all possible findings, no findings at all, okay? No readings of any kind, no nandrolone, no THG, no PEDs, no banned substances, nothing. Zip, nada, cero, right? And the reason why this is surprising, because a lot of people was waiting like, oh man, let's see if they got something in their system. You know, and I've heard a lot from people that come to me and tell me like, oh, you know what this guy said or this channel here over here said. And I'm like, okay, wait till the results come in. So, hey, the day is the day. So for all the people that thought, like Fanon, you know, members of or associates with Fred, the Barbershop Conversations, because I don't think he actually said it, but definitely Fanon and others, they thought that Tyson Fury cheated. That's why he was able to get up by such damaging blows by the bigger, heavier than normal Deontay Wilder. Okay, that's why these results are surprising to most, because they're clean. Now, mind you, that because they're clean, there shouldn't be any leeway or opportunity, window, whatever you want to call it, to accuse someone of cheating. You know, and a lot of people bring back old 2015 situations, because that's exactly when it happened. Okay, it happened once, you know, and him and his cousin, Huey Fury, had high levels of nandrolone. Now, mind you, nandrolone is something that's already in our body. Okay, it's a chemical in our body. And, you know, of course, that's what came Martin Carefoot. That's what came the wild boar meat. That's what came the lies and all that stuff that was added to that back in those times. But I want people to understand that the UCAD company or corporation, they did not legally rule Tyson Fury dirty until the next year, which is weird. It's stupid, because when they first asked him, they just told him this, that, and the other. I don't know if he then brought the wild boar meat situation up, right? But later on, it didn't matter anyway where he got it from, because he was still suspended. But by the time that happened, he was already inactive, because he was already doing a little nose candy. He was drinking. He was, you know, and he was out of his mind at that time. You know, he had fell from grace, or whatever you want to call it, mental illness issues, whatever. That's what was going on with Tyson Fury. He began to be 400 pounds. He was not going to fight anyone anyway. Okay? So I want people to know that. You know, if you're going to tell the truth, tell it all. Okay? And then UCAD decided, hey, you know what? We're going to ban you. Then that's what happened. So last year, people were making the accusations that he cheated. And people also, you guys remember when, they're going to open up another case, guys. And that's why the UCAD now has decided to open the case. Now you see all that's bullshit. Okay, because why would UCAD open another case about someone that's coming forward now? And we don't really know how true that is, because it's supposed to have been a guy that said he was supposed to get paid and never got paid. Therefore, he's came out and said, you know what? He did pay me, but didn't pay me, to lie, and then say that was all a lie. So it's like, okay, dude, what? Go. Just go. You haven't heard from him since. If you've really heard from him in the first place, because, you know, you don't know where that story brewed from. You don't know who was reaching out to him. You don't know who was probably paying him to lie just to get another story. You don't know any of that. All we know is Tyson Fury's supposed to pay the man. He didn't pay the man, right? That's what the guy said. Then he came back and said that was a lie. So what do you really do with that? Okay. And then UCAD's supposed to, because of that newfound information, supposed to open up another investigation about Tyson Fury, and that would have not allowed him to fight. But then you did want him to fight because then Deontay Wilder did have his court case. Okay. And it was so confusing because it's like, okay, do you want UCAD to open the case up so he can't fight? Or do you want Deontay Wilder to have his third night? Bars. So it was kind of like, okay, do you guys want Wilder to fight or you don't want Tyson Fury to fight Wilder again based on what? So it was a lot of dirtiness behind it. I think it was a lot of underhanded shit because, for one, why not lie if you're supposed to be a channel or a journalist or whatever you claim to be on a content creator side? Because, the world was shut down. So you had to do something to make money. You had to make up something. I mean, the only story we had was Deontay Wilder got beat up and then blamed it on his costume. That was the only thing that we really had to go on, and people laughed on that about a weekend or two or three. But after that, that kind of died out, so something else had to happen. Oh, there you go, Glovegate. Hey, what's up with his gloves on the first fight? Like, that's the first fight. That was in 2018. This is 2020, and you're still talking about that? Now you resurrect that? That's why I called it Glovegate Resurrection, because it was like you should have saw that piece of evidence of how big the glove was then. Oh, that's right. He didn't lose. So nobody really cared. Now he lost. And hey, let's look at that now. And hey, you know what? Now, don't that look funny now? It is compared to then. So if it didn't look funny then, but it looks funny now. It just was the stupidest shit ever. Then Glovegate 2, where, he hit Wilder and then Wilder caught it with his fucking fist and shit and it crinkled up. And then, oh my God, look at that black glove. You know what I mean? And now Tyson Fury dropped the bombshell, guys, and wore the same damn gloves. He wore the same gloves. People came in there like detectives and shit. You saw that shit. They sliced that shit open. That shit looked like a sandwich, and it showed the cushion. It showed what was in the glove. It showed the stitching. That showed you couldn't tamper with that shit if you tried. You know what I mean? And then see what gave it away was Tay was like, hey, this is bullshit. They don't look right. Well, that's when they opened him up and they showed him. You know what I mean? So even that glove, that was nothing wrong with it, looked fucked up to them, to everybody that thought it looked jacked up. So, it was very interesting to see that. So, I mean, this, of course, kind of full circles the excuses that they used in the second fight, because before that, when he gave Wilder that ass whooping, they were thinking, nah, he got to be on something. Well, that was debunked. Just like now, both guys came out of there, passed the test. So now this is debunked, legitimately debunked. So now, it's full circled. So, we've got the long count, though. So, I mean, they can argue with that all they want. That's been debunked. Now, you can argue about it. You can go back and forth. But if someone is hell-bent on believing that someone is a cheater, that's fine. But understand, he didn't cheat this fight, and you don't have any evidence that he cheated the second fight between two pictures. One half a video where a big floppy-ass glove he was using, trying to stay away from his opponent, flicking the jab out, and a crimped glove in the second fight. That was small because a big-handed ass man decided to wear some puncher's gloves because he was ready to punch someone. And his name was Tyson Fury. And he wanted to punch who? Deontay Wilder. And that's that. Okay. Now we got the third fight, which, was a lot better because it played its course. Right? We seen it play its course out. You know what I mean? And then you still had someone say, man, I just wanted to get counted out. Man, there was no reason to count. That shit was no different than Fernando Vargas getting caught with the one last right hand by Felix Trinidad, and his ass went down to the count, and he was trying to get up, but the referee Jay Nady at the time was like, dude, nah. Because see, we know by now from what we seen in that fight that Fernando Vargas took too much punishment, and you can tell he's a little slower now. You know, he was in wars. He was in the war with De La Hoya, which he was juicing. He did those 2 fights with Mosley. Then he was in there with Mayorga. You know, he was in there. He fought a lot of people. But that one ass whooping that one night, I think, did more damage than a lot of those fights that he did after that. Say all that to say this. Deontay Wilder took a lot of punishment, so there was no reason to count. But anyway, those are the results, people. You guys tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunching. Peace.